A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm happy to meet you in one more interesting session. Welcome to the session BA History program, second semester, session number 33. I'm Sudhaji, Assistant Professor, Department of History, GFGC, Ripanpet. On the screen, you can notice a portrait of the last great Mughal emperor. Can you name him? Shall I give you a clue? Okay. He was the third son of Shah Jahan, who tried to transform India into a Muslim country. He also imprisoned his own father Shah Jahan and executed his brothers for the sake of power. Now, can you name him? Yes, your response is right. He is Aurangzeb. Today in this session, let us explore Aurangzeb and his early life as an introductory part. Look at the portrait once again. Usually, the emperor's portrait will be shown riding a horse with a sword. But I have chosen the portrait of Aurangzeb with a book, which reveals that he was a very intelligent and keen student, mastered Quran and Hadith. He was a scholar of Arabic and Persian languages, also learnt Turki and Hindi as well. He was well versed in theology, that is, the study of religion. I hope you like this portrait. Let us start our session with the introduction of Aurangzeb. Students have got the bird's eye view of Akbar's life and personality. They have learnt about the Rajput policy of Akbar. They also knew about Deen Ilahi, the divine faith. They have been impressed by religious policy of Akbar, which was completely based on tolerance. Learning objectives of today's session: to enable the students to learn about the early life and career of Aurangzeb. Students will recall the battles fought by him to come to power. Learning outcomes of today's session: students will appreciate the military and administrative ability of Aurangzeb. They will locate the extension of his empire on the outline map of India. They will be astonished learning about the power mongering nature of Aurangzeb. To begin with, Aurangzeb was born on 3rd November in 1618 AD at a place called Dod in Malwa near Ujjain. His full name was Muhiuddin Muhammad Aurangzeb. His title was Bahadur Alamgir Badshah Ghazi. His father was Shah Jahan and mother was Mumtaz Begum. His wife was Dilaras Begum. Bahadur Shah first was one among the many sons of Aurangzeb. Let us learn about his early career. Aurangzeb started his career as a soldier. Before becoming the governor of Deccan, he was appointed a Mansabdar of 10,000 Zat and 4,000 Savar. He took first expedition against Bundela. At the age of 16, he got appointed as governor of Deccan for 2 terms, first in between 1636 to 1647 and again from 1654 to 1658 AD. He also served as governor of Balkh and Badakhshana, which lies in Afghanistan and Tajikistan. He also served as governor of Multan and Sindh. Between 1648 to 1652, when he was governor of Multan, during that period, he was commissioned to capture Kandahar, but his two sieges of that fortress in 1649 and 1652 proved unsuccessful. Hence, he was transferred to Deccan in 1652, where he remained up to 1658. At the early age itself, he showed the signs of military and administrative ability. He held a number of appointments and he distinguished himself in all the posts. He commanded troops against the Uzbeks and the Persians in 1646 and 1647 AD. As Viceroy of the Deccan province in two terms, he reduced the two Muslim Deccan kingdoms to near subjugation. Let us now focus on the Battle of Samugar, also called as the War of Succession, which was fought among the four sons of Shah Jahan, namely Dara Shikoh, Shah Shuja, Aurangzeb, and Murad Baksha. As there was no law of succession among the Mughals, the strength of the sword alone determined the successor. The Battle of Samugar sealed the fate of Aurangzeb in the War of Succession that was fought on 29th May 1658. Samugar is situated about 16 kilometers east of Agra and south of the Yamuna River, in which he decisively defeated Dara Shikoh, his eldest brother, and he came to power. In the struggle for power, he showed tactical and strategic military skill, great powers of dissimulation, and ruthless determination. He confined his father in his own palace at Agra. In consolidating his power, he killed a brother and had two other brothers executed. Do you know the causes for this war of succession and the factors which are responsible for the success of Aurangzeb in this battle of Samugar? Let me tell you in detail. Novelty of war of succession was that usually previous wars were fought after the death of the emperor, but this war was fought when Shah Jahan was still alive. All sons and daughters of Shah Jahan participated in it. All the four sons fought with each other. The sisters allied themselves with one or the other brother. Do you know who are they? Zahanara supported Dara Shikoh, Roshanara supported Aurangzeb, and Guhanara sided with Murad Baksh. Now let us know the causes for this war of succession. Rumors of Shah Jahan's death, and Shah Jahan decided to appoint Dara, his eldest son, as his successor, whom his other sons and nobles did not like on account of his religious views, selfish interest of courtiers, desire of each prince to get success. There was no love lost among the four princes. Each of them knew that only one would get throne and others will be killed by the victor. Kingship knows no kinship. This was the general attitude of the princes, and lack of definite law of succession. Sword was determining factor to become the emperor. Aurangzeb called his brother Murad to a feast at Mathura. There he was heavily drunk and in a state of unconsciousness taken to Gwalior fort, where he was killed by Aurangzeb. And in addition to that, Aurangzeb made his eldest brother Dara Shikoh to parade in dirty clothes in the city and awarded death punishment along with his two sons. I am sure, students, you will be disgusted to learn that for the sake of power and wealth, Aurangzeb got his own brothers executed. It should not happen, which is very unfortunate. Now let us know the causes for Aurangzeb's success in the War of Succession. As you know pretty well that Aurangzeb was a more able commander than his brothers, and his war diplomacy, which was very secret, he was successful in creating division among the officers of Dara's army. He had a superior artillery. Because of all these factors, he won the battle. At the end of the battle, he got his own father imprisoned. And he came to power. After coming to power, the first measures which he had introduced were popular measures. He enhanced the salaries of officers. He abolished the grain trade tax, declined to accept gifts, which are appreciable. Among the Puritan measures, worthy to mention, he banned the celebration of Nowruz in his empire. He banned music also. He stopped the practice of weighing the emperor in silver and gold. He appointed moral preachers for the ethical uplift of the Muslims. Again, it is also an appreciable measure introduced by Aurangzeb. He stopped the practice of Jaroka. It is not Jakokha, it is Jaroka, which means public audience. As a summary, we can tell that Aurangzeb was well versed in different languages like Arabic, Persian, Turkey, and Hindi. He studied Quran and Hadith. An excellent horse rider, a brave and daring fighter, proficient in the art of calligraphy. His unpopular policies led to the dissolution of Mughal Empire, particularly his religious policy, which caused many rebellion in his empire. He got enmity of the people. At last, Aurangzeb was died on 3rd March 1707 at the age of 88 at Ahmednagar. Before winding the session, let us have a quick recapitulation. Early life and career of Aurangzeb, different battles fought by him, his military and administrative ability, his power-mongering nature, his popular and Puritan measures, and multifaceted personalities of Aurangzeb. These are the points we have discussed in this session. As you know well that unless you revise, you will forget. Hence, I would like to assign a verb. Kingship knows no kinship. Elaborate this statement with reference to Samugar battle. The books I referred to prepare my talk are Medieval History of India by J.C. Agarwal, History of Medieval India by L.P. Sharma, Advanced Study in the History of Medieval India by J.L. Mehta. I hope all of you would have enjoyed the session. Thank you, one and all.